Hello, friends of Albion, Battle Creek, Springfield, and all Calhoun County communities I serve in the legislature. I'm State Representative Jim Haatsma. One of the most frequent questions I'm asked by constituents is how can families afford the rising cost of sending their sons or daughters to college in Michigan? Well, joining me to help offer a possible solution to that problem is my friend Robin Lott. Robin, thanks for joining me this afternoon.
My pleasure.
Robin's the Executive Director of the Michigan Education Trust, which is one of the Section 529 college savings plans offered by the state of Michigan. Robin, again, thanks for sharing your time today. So first for our viewers, what's the Michigan Education Trust and how does the contract work?
So MET is the Section 529.
And MET is the Michigan Education Trust. Yep. It's the acronym.
That's the acronym for MET, or
and
for Michigan Education Trust.
and what's 529 mean?
So 529 is the section of the Internal Revenue Code from the IRS that basically gives states an opportunity to offer a prepaid type program like Michigan Education Trust and investment type programs for families to save for college. It gives us some great tax benefits and incentives to encourage families to save for college. So with MET, you can actually purchase credit hours today at today's cost and use those credit hours toward college education if the student attends a Michigan public college, or get a refund if the student decides to attend out-of-state college or to a Michigan private. So basically, it's a college savings, but you're prepaying for college tuition.
Sure. So when you indicate that this is a strategy for families, who can open a MET plan, a 529 MET plan?
Sure, anyone can open one. The majority of our purchasers are parents and guardians, but grandparents represent about 15% of purchasers as well.
Is that a newer evolution of the MET plan by which grandparents can get involved?
No, sir.
That's been part of it all the way along.
Yes, and we've been around for 31 years now. So we're celebrating 31 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And a lot of families are doing it, but you don't have to be related to the child to do it. Companies, business organizations can actually name a child and use it as an opportunity for a scholarship to give back to the community.
What are the tax benefits to opening a MET plan?
So the main tax benefit in Michigan is the Michigan income tax deduction. It's
on
$1
the state
for
income tax return.
Yes, it's $1 for dollar deduction. And what you're doing is, we have that subtractions to income form. So the total amount that you put into MET every year is deductible on that form. And then it grows tax deferred, so you don't pay tax as it's growing, and then it's tax exempt, so when you withdraw the money and use it for higher education expenses, you won't pay tax on the earnings portion of it either.
And I've used this for at least one of my kids, and we'll get to that in a moment. But what college expenses are covered by MET? And I think that has been evolved more recently. You talked to me about that when you came through and met with me a couple of months ago. Is it restricted to Michigan colleges?
It's not.
Okay.
So if your child or student does attend a Michigan public college, we're going to cover the tuition and the mandatory fees at the in-state rate, regardless of where they go within the state. So it's the maximum benefit out of the program is if they attend a Michigan public college. However, they can attend an out-of-state college. We give a refund value based on average tuition of the Michigan public colleges. They can attend a Michigan private college. And again, out of state does include out of country. So, some of these students may end up studying abroad. They can do that as well.
In terms of any other 529 plans, are there other ones in Michigan?
There are. We have a total of 3. So MET is the prepaid tuition plan, but we have Michigan Education Savings Program, which is considered MESP, and we have an MI 529 Advisor Plan. We call that MAP. And basically those programs are investment based, very much like a 401k, but for college savings. And you can open an account with as little as $25. Your account balance, because you are investing, your account balance can go up or down depending on the type of investment option that you choose. But at the end of the day, the amount in your account can be used not only for tuition, but it can be used for room and board, books, lots of other things. Computers are now included.
Yeah, and I think when you came by and saw me at my legislative office, you told me that college-related computer usage is now part of that. So there's more flexibility associated with it than there might have been a few years ago.
That is correct, yes.
So, can you tell us about Fostering Futures, that program? Because you talked with me about that, and I'd like the viewers to know more about that as well.
Thank you. So yes, Fostering Futures Scholarship Trust Fund is an effort that we put together maybe 7 years ago now. We've been doing some fundraising for about 5 years, and we partner with the Department of Health and Human Services to help youth who have experienced foster care within the state of Michigan and want to attend a college in Michigan. We give them a scholarship of $3,000. Now, that's not a very easy thing to do, but we do 3 events around the state. One on the west side of the state in Grand Rapids is June. In August, we do a Capitol Lawn Pizza Party with Hungry Howie's as our main provider of all the pizza. And then in Detroit in September, we do our final dinner event there. And so all the funds that we raise as sponsorships, people that just want to donate money, ticket sales, we do some silent auction activities and raffles at those events. All those proceeds can then be used right out the door as scholarships for those youth. The biggest component or need-based area for those students is room and board. What we find is that many students that have experienced foster care and age out of the system don't have that family support to help keep them motivated and engaged. So with the little support from some of the colleges now that have campus-based programs, we've seen a big uptick on the retention of those students and matriculation.
That's a great evolution of the program as well.
Yes.
I mentioned to you that in my individual circumstance, we have 4 children, 3 of whom now have graduated from college. One just this past weekend, early in May 2019.
Congratulations. Yes.
Thank you. And another one still in college. But the first one who attended needed more resources, and we ended up, well, for lack of a better depiction, cannibalizing some of the other contracts to make sure we, at the front end, loaded up on what we paid for her.
Okay.
How much flexibility is there in the plans? If one student doesn't go to college, is it true that you can use that student's resources accumulated by the parents or grandparents to fund another student?
Absolutely. We call that transferability. And so if child A doesn't go, or maybe child A receives a full scholarship, you can transfer all or a portion of your MET contract down to another child in the family. Immediate family member is very broadly defined to include not only the siblings, but children of the beneficiary, parents of the beneficiary, and first cousins of the beneficiary, so your nieces and nephews. So yes.
A lot of people are going to ask, well, why should I save in a 529 plan? Because it would otherwise impact on the financial assistance benefit my son or daughter might receive. What do you say to that argument?
Well, I say that that's not a legitimate concern. They should not be concerned with that because only 4.65% of the amount that you're saving in a 529 is going to affect the need-based eligibility for your student. And so you can't beat that. I mean, yeah, it used to be much higher, and now it's down to that. Now, if the Congress acts in the next 2 years or so and reauthorizes the Higher Education Act, it's a possibility that you won't even have to report your savings on the FAFSA. So stay tuned on that one.
How have programs like Kalamazoo Promise or the mini promise that we have in Battle Creek, by which Battle Creek Central and Lakeview students who attain a sufficient GPA, how have those programs impacted upon the savings of parents or grandparents in relation to 529 plans?
Well, those students obviously will already have, most of those students will have, I'm assuming, 100% of their tuition paid. So basically, if you saved in the MED or the MESP or the MAP and your son or daughter receives a Promise scholarship that covers the entire bill, to us, that's a full scholarship. So you would then at that point either decide, okay, do I want to transfer it to another person in the family, or do I want to take that refund, because these funds are refundable? And you'll only pay tax on the earnings portion of the refund, but hey, take a trip, do some improvements to the house, whatever you might need to do.
Windfall,
add it to your retirement account.
It's a windfall with tax advantages.
Absolutely, and you're just ahead of the game.
What about marketing? I know historically we've had 529 plans for our kids, and there's been marketing. What marketing is undertaken now? Has it changed with lots more people no longer getting news of these by mail or by a postcard, and learning much more about this by social media, by Facebook or Instagram?
Absolutely. It has evolved over time. We still do the traditional medias as television, radio, but we are finding that if we don't maintain those, you're not going to do well, but you also have to add to that. So obviously we have a Facebook page. We're doing Twitter now. We're doing a lot of social media things. We're doing podcasts. We're trying to meet the new younger families where they're at to get their information. We even do some advertising on Pandora. So yeah, we're trying to keep up with the times and keep it fresh.
So you've told me about some of the platforms by which parents and grandparents might learn more about MET 529 plans. Any other way they might communicate directly with you or with MET?
Absolutely. So go out on our website. It's
What's that?
setwithmet.com. That's S-E-T, the word with, M-E-T.com. And actually, I have a link to the MESP program at the bottom of that page, as well as MAP. But that page or that site will basically give you everything you could ever want to know about MET. We also actually will answer the phone from 8 to 5 on Monday through Friday.
That's refreshing.
Yes, we will. We have a staff of 16 in Lansing.
Somebody's going to actually probably answer the telephone, and you won't be put in queue for the next available
Right.
attendant to get to you.
And we actually have a new phone system, so our answer rate is up to 98% now. So
that's great.
in the event you do fall off, we apologize. But yes, call us at 800 MET, the number 4 KID, MET 4 KID, and we're there 8 to 5. The MESP phone lines also are getting answered, and those phone numbers are online as well. It's 861 MESP, I believe, 866-861 MESP. And they're there from 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. because we have a call station that's outside the state of Michigan. But
Robin, thanks again for joining me this evening. Thanks for giving
pleasure.
our constituents in Calhoun County all this useful information about how they might invest and send their kids and grandkids to college. If you have any questions of me or want to reach Robin, you can contact me by my email, jimhotzma@house.mi.gov. or you can reach me at my office here in Lansing, 517-373-0555. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening.